Hi, I'm Neil Beck. I was a Perth doctor in Australia for 53 years and had 500,000 consultations, home and hospital visits with people that covered almost everything, and found that the most important part of health is mental health. There are no perfect mums, dads, families, homes, streets, localities, communities or schools. So every child has some suffering and that causes some mild, moderate or severe mental health problems. The most important thing for anyone to do is to find and correct their mental health problems as early as possible. If you've got mental health in the developed country, there's so much of everything that you'll get everything you need eventually. But if you have got serious mental health problems, you will never get some things that you need. So mental health is the most important thing in every person's life. The second most important thing is to build enough good relationships. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived in small groups in nature, very close to one another, with no brick walls between them. And that's what our chemistry and how we are geared to live close to other people. We need to have good relationships. The third most important thing is to have high endorphins chemistry. Endorphins stands for endogenous morphines. Endogenous morphines are over 20 chemicals that our brain and glands produce that help to relieve pain and to boost our immune system. They help to relieve pain and distress and boost our immune system. Having a strong immune system is the fourth most important thing. Your immune system is cells and antibodies and chemistry in every part of your body that fights infections, allergies, inflammation, autoimmune diseases and cancers. So important to have a strong immune system, and your immune system is mainly managed by having high endorphins. The fifth important thing is to have a good home. It's such a difference between a person who has a good home and a person who has a bad home or is homeless. So start early to think about and plan how you're going to get a good home that you and yours are happy and secure in. A good home. The sixth important thing is a good education, and of course to have a good education you have to be mentally healthy. If you're not mentally healthy, you won't get a good education. And the seventh important thing is to have a good job. Nearly all of us have to work to support ourselves, to earn a living and support ourselves, and to have a good job which we find interesting and not dangerous and not boring, but a good job is so important. But the sad thing that I found was that there was that lots of people who needed mental health help were getting no help at all, and almost nobody seemed to get enough help. There was just never going to be enough mental health help workers for all the people that needed help. And I eventually understood that that was due to the weakness of the tools that mental health care workers use. There are only two main tools, and they both have great weaknesses. The first tool is medicines, and medicines are often addictive. So many medicines are addictive. The commonest mental health problem is anxiety worry disorder, and nearly all the medicines for anxiety worry disorder are addictive. Nearly all the medicines for sleep are addictive. The three main medicines for ADD, ADHD are addictive, and that causes terrible problems. So that's a big weakness in one of the main tools, the weakness that so many medicines are addictive. And secondly, medicines work too slowly. Most medicines are tablets or capsules, and you have to swallow them, and you need a drink to wash them down, and they take half an hour to go right down your gut and start to be absorbed into your bloodstream and get to where they're needed in your brain or wherever. Half an hour to an hour to start to be absorbed and work, and 1 to 2 hours to work strongly, which is just too slow for lots of mental health distresses and for lots of addiction craving. The other tool, the second tool with mental health, is talk therapy, counseling, consultation, CBT, call it what you like, but basically talk therapy. And talk therapy has two big problems. Firstly, it's too slow. It takes too long to talk to someone and find out what all their problems are, what caused them, what's making them worse, and what will to explain what will make them better. And sometimes things are missed. With talk therapy, you often forget to ask about particular things. So talk therapy has the weakness that it's too slow, and you sometimes miss things, and it also has the problem that it's too costly. To be a therapist, you need to have at least a 4-year Bachelor of Psychology degree from a university, but preferably a 6 or 7-year Master's or PhD psychology degree. And to be a psychiatrist takes you 10 or 12 years. So those people are pretty smart. They've done long training courses, and they have to be paid well, which means that talk therapy is costly. Talk therapy is so costly that individual people will never be able to pay enough for it, and governments will not be able to afford to pay enough for free public clinics. So what I decided was that we needed better tools for mental health. Today we do everything with tools. We have tools for everything. If we need to do something and there isn't a good tool to do it, then someone develops a good tool to do it. Tools help us to do things more quickly, more easily, better, cheaper. Good tools are essential, and we needed more tools in mental health. And those tools should be things that people are conversant with and know how to use themselves, because if there are not enough people to help you, you have to help yourself. So the tools need to be things that everybody is conversant with, such as smartphones, under-a-minute videos, scrolling, and powder medicine in pocket dispensers. Scrolling, you can race through a lot of stuff and find what's important for you. As a medical student, my medical textbook had 1,200 pages. So much detail about so many things. And for a sick person, perhaps only 10 pages of that 1,200 pages was relevant. So that's the problem with too much detail about too many things, which you overcome with scrolling. But the problem with scrolling is you can race through lots of stuff and find what's important for you, but with scrolling there isn't any detail. That's why it's fast. There's no detail. But you need detail, just about the things that help your particular problems. So I developed a tool which I call Scroll Plus. Scroll Plus. Scroll Plus is 89 mental health and addiction wants, needs and solutions that covers everything in mental health and addiction. 89 items, and each person doesn't have 89 items. They might only have 5 or 8 or 10 of those items, and the items that are important to them, they need to have detail on those items. So my Scroll Plus allows you to scroll through as many of the 89 items as you've got time to do. You can scroll through the whole lot in 7 or 8 minutes, but a lot of people don't have a strong enough attention span to do that. But you can do 2 or 3 or 5 minutes and scroll through as much. And every time you come to one point that is important to you, it might be anxiety, it might be depression, it might be sleep, it might be heroin, it might be cocaine, whatever it is. When you come to a point that's important for you, you can tap on an instant 6 to 16 second video that gives you some information about that problem. 6 to 16 second video, it doesn't sound very long, but you can learn quite a lot in 6 to 16 seconds. And if the 6 to 16 second video on an item is helpful for you, then it has a link to a 1 minute item, 1 minute video on that item, so then you can get more information. And if you find this helpful, then we have the Mental Fix It app. The Mental Fix It app, which in a few minutes you can tap your choice of answers and get an instant report that tells you the 6 of our 83 under a minute videos that will help you most. And the problem with the Scroll Plus tool, I have completed it, but my technician is still putting it up, and I hope that within a week you'll be able to do that Scroll Plus tool. It'll be free, and you can do it as often as you need to discover everything that's important for you and to get information about the things that are important for you. And the problem with mental health care also is that there are many blind areas. I found that there are many blind areas which cause mental health care to be defective. The first is that although mental health is the most important thing in our life, it's not taught in school. Every child should learn in school about mental health, but it's not taught in school. And good relationships, which is the second most important thing in everyone's life, not taught in schools. Mental health must be taught in schools. So that's a terrible blind area. Another blind area is that we tend to treat people as if they are separate, isolated persons, but mental health problems are nearly always family problems, and it's very difficult for someone to get better if their family doesn't get better. We must approach mental health problems as family problems and mainly help the person who presents, but help them to then help to share what helps them with their family members who are troubled, so that the whole family gets better together, which is much easier and much more lasting and less likely to relapse. A third blind area in mental health is we often don't find the causes. If you find the causes of a problem, it's much easier to fix that problem, and when you fix that problem, it's much less likely to come back. But if you don't find the causes of a problem, it's hard to get people better, and if the cause is still there, even if they get better, they're likely to relapse and get the problem again. So we must find causes. And mental health problems should be treated as emergencies. The best time to deal with a mental health problem is when it first arises, when it's fairly simple, fairly obvious what it is, what caused it, and much easier to find things to fix it. But problems, if they're not solved, soon cause more problems that cause more problems. You start with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That makes you a bit of a problem child and causes difficulties between you and your parents and perhaps your siblings. And then you get to school, and in school with ADD you're a problem child and you cause distractions in the classroom, and that causes you cop flack from the teacher, and that causes problems. And then you get poor education, and then you leave school early, and then you don't have very good employment prospects. So problems lead to problems which lead problems. So mental health problems and addictions are an emergency. They should be tackled as early as possible before they cause more complications and get very difficult. Another blind factor in mental health is that 60 to 65% of our life is habits. Our brain has got to do so much that it can't do everything consciously and purposefully. Much of our life has to be automatic and unconscious. In fact, 60 to 65% of our life is things, including sleep, which we do automatically without thinking. And as we grow from childhood to adolescence to adulthood to middle age, old age, our habits need to change, and our world changes, which means our habits need to change. But a blind area, a very important blind area in mental health to me, is that we don't teach people how to make new good habits that they need, and how to break old habits that are no longer helpful. How to make and break habits is very important, which is explained in some of my 83 under a minute videos. And another important blind area is transgenerational trauma. We tend to think that problems are all from today, but in actual fact, if something very bad happens to a person, that can affect their children and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. It can affect the next 3 generations. Not everyone, but just some of them. So if you have a mental health problem or an addiction problem and you don't understand, it doesn't seem obvious what caused that, you need to inquire as to whether either of your parents or any of your grandparents or great-grandparents had particular problems, because some people seem to relive the problems that their parents or grandparents or great-grandparents had, and if you understand that, you can solve those problems better. Another blind area in mental health is that we seem to be pretty focused on telling people what their diagnosis is and that's often helpful. It's helpful to know if you've got ADD, ADHD, to know if you've got depression, to know if you've got bipolar disorder or whatever. But what's most important is to know what you need to learn and to be able to do to have a better life. What you need, what you want and need to have a better life is more important than what your actual title or diagnosis is. Another weakness is that people aren't taught to do self-help. If there's not enough people to help everyone who needs help, then they need to help themselves. And I think it's very important for people to be taught how to help themselves. But we treat them as not very smart, just tell them what to do, and they're often confused and don't remember. They need to learn to do self-help. Another mental health blind spot is that we tend to focus too much on blaming someone. If there's a problem, who's to blame? And we tend to think, oh, there's this problem here, there must be a person who's to blame, when actually problems, mental health and addiction problems, nearly always come in chains, and the present problem is part of a chain, and it wasn't caused by one person. If one person is a problem and it's called a problem, that's because someone was a problem for them, and someone was a problem for that person who was a problem for them. So the blame game, looking for a single person to blame, is counterproductive. Don't do it. Look for the chain. What is the problem? What was the problem that caused the problem that caused the problem? Who is the person who had a problem, who caused someone else to have a problem, who caused someone else to have the problem that you're dealing with? And a 10th blind area, which I only learned about fairly recently, is that unhelpful loyalty causes some people to not get better. They're troubled, and they come from a troubled family, and they feel that they must stay troubled because that's how their family is. But that's not right. Every one of us should be healthy and happy, and if you're troubled, find what it takes to get better and share it with your family members, or at least one or two of your family members, so that the family gets better. And when the family gets better, it'll be much better for you, easier for you to get better, and you'll be much less likely to relapse. So, mental health, the most important thing in our life. Good relationships, the second most important thing in our life. So I do this live streaming as part of a chain of tools. When I realized that there was never going to be enough mental health help because the two main tools, medicines and talk therapy, had big problems, I realized we needed more tools, and I have developed a chain of tools, 10 tools, which is not complete yet. Some of them are only half done, and some of them need to be revised. But basically, the first tool is videos. There's no faster, better, more convenient, lower cost way to understand mental health problems than to watch videos on them. But what took me quite a while to realize was that they should be just 1 minute videos, not 10-minute videos for most people. The second tool is websites, a site that people can go to and find information that they need. My main website was mentalhealthvideos.a to z.com, mentalhealthvideos.a to z.com, but that was pretty long and people wanted a short one. So now I also have the short one, which is just smilefixit.com. Smilefixit.com. In a page and a half, there's all the things that you need, and you just tap on the items that are important for you to get more detail. Videos, websites, then an app. To overcome the slowness and the cost and the inconvenience of consultation methods, we developed the Mental Fixit app. The Mental Fixit app, and you can go on your phone and tap the App Store or the Google Play button and download free the Mental Fixit app. The Mental Fixit app, and in a few minutes tap your choice of answers and get an instant report. And the instant report tells you which 6 of our under-a-minute videos will help you most, what a list of all your problems are that you've tapped that are a problem in descending order of importance, which medicines are likely to help you most, and a graph of your total score which tells you whether you're getting better or not. If you're getting better, then you're on the right treatment, continue. But if your total score is not getting better, then you need to review your treatment and get different treatment or more treatment. The fifth tool is powder medicine. Why powder medicine? Because powder medicine is absorbed much faster than swallowed tablets. Swallowed tablets go right down your gut and are absorbed through your gut into your bloodstream, take half an hour to an hour to start to work, and 1 to 2 hours to work strongly. But if you drop powder medicine on your tongue and suck it, don't swallow it, suck it, it gets into the bloodstream in 5 minutes. Your tongue is pink because the bloodstream, the blood vessels are so close under the surface, and although thousands of tiny grains of medicine get into the blood very quickly, in 5 minutes to begin with, and then soon your body connects the taste of the medicine with getting better, and you get what's called taste conditioning. And then as soon as you taste the medicine, as soon as you drop it on your tongue and it reaches the taste buds on the back of your tongue, you start to feel better. And that's so much faster that it's much better in relieving mental health distresses and relieving addiction cravings. And the sixth tool is pocket powder medicine dispensers. Having the powder medicine in a jar with a scoop was a bit awkward and sometimes not very accurate, so I developed pocket powder medicine dispensers, and if the powder's on that anytime, anywhere, even driving a car, you can whiz it out and drop the medicine on your tongue in a few seconds and start to get relief. The seventh tool is heartbeat meditation aids. Meditation is so important for people with mental distress and addictions, but it can be hard to learn. But the heartbeat meditation aid, which is just a shortened doctor's stethoscope, that's the hearing part, allows you to listen to your heart, and listening to your heart is a much easier way to learn to meditate. The eighth tool is a bigger pocket powder dispenser that dispenses fruit powder. There are global epidemics of obesity and diabetes due to too much sugar. Sugar's got more and more plentiful and cheaper, and we burn less and less calories because we sit at desks rather than doing physical work, and we need something to stop us from having so much sugary products, and fruit powder is getting more and more popular, and you can go online and buy all kinds of fruit powders anywhere in the world. They taste lovely, and they've got a little bit of fructose, which is fruit sugar, but not cane sugar, so they're very safe, and the fibre in fruit powder is good for your gut. So if you've got a fruit powder dispenser in your pocket, you can whiz it out anytime and take anywhere whenever you're tempted to eat chocolate or lollies or biscuits or cakes, or to drink drinks that are full of sugar. You can use taste also to help you make and break habits. If every time you think about a new habit you're trying to make, or you do the new habit you're trying to make, you have a lovely taste of fruit powder, and enjoy that taste, that helps to make it easier for you to do that habit. Quite a lot of habits that we want to make are not that easy, not that enjoyable, like exercise, or learning to play a musical instrument, or learning a new language, or studying mathematics or chemistry or geography or something. Learning the habit of focusing and concentration, you can improve that with lovely tastes of fruit powder. And you can help to break bad habits with lovely tastes. How do you break a bad habit? A habit is something which has underlying triggers and electrical and chemical messages that have got strong and automatic. And what you have to do is to weaken those triggers and messages, and you do that by delaying them and doing less of them. So if you have the urge to have a cigarette or some whiskey or wine or something, and you have got an alcohol problem and you need to reduce it, what you do is, when you think about the smoking or the drinking or whatever, you whiz out your fruit powder dispenser and drop some lovely fruit powder on your tongue, and just enjoy the taste, and try not to think about the habit that you're trying to break. And as the taste fades, you have another taste, and focus on that and concentrate. So you manage to put off smoking or drinking for 15 or 20 minutes, and you smoke less or you drink less. When you've smoked 3/4 of a cigarette, you chuck the last quarter away. That weakens the underlying triggers and messages, and when they're a little bit weakened, you can delay a little bit longer and take a little bit, even a little bit less. And so you go weaken the triggers and the messages, delay and take less, then weaken the triggers even more. The ninth tool I call phone treasure, and I haven't really developed that yet, but just as with the fruit powder, you can have things that you love on your phone in your pocket. So you've got on your pocket things you can look at that you love, photos of your children or your grandchildren or your girlfriend or your new car or your cat or your dog or your lovely garden or a mountain or whatever. You can whiz the phone out. You need a lift, you're trying to avoid something, whiz the phone treasure out and look at it on your phone. Or the phone treasure might be something you listen to. It could be music, it might be some person talking about something that's interesting to you, or a friend's well-wishing or greeting you, or something that you love on your phone that you can whiz out and enjoy any time. is very helpful. I haven't done that properly yet, but we'll do that later. And the 10th tool, which I hope will be the most helpful of all of them, is the Scroll Plus, because Scroll Plus will allow anyone in a fairly short time to scroll through the whole 89 mental health and addiction items, wants, needs and solutions, and find everything that's important to them, and immediately see short informative videos that help them. Yeah, so okay, well, that's that for today. I'll be back again on Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Perth time and 9 a.m. Sunday morning Perth time. If you've got any comments or questions, criticisms, please send them to me via the platform. I usually do these live streaming on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, but today there seemed to be a problem with Facebook, and I don't think it's on Facebook today, but I don't know what caused that problem. And at my age I'm not that good at technology, but I'll get my tech guy to help me. But normally we're on those 4 platforms, and you can send us comments, questions and criticisms, and I always respond to them. Or you can email me. I always respond to emails. The email address for that is healthestuff@gmail.com, healthestuff@gmail.com, which you can find at smilefixit.com. Smilefixit.com has got the email address, and I always respond to emails. So thank you for watching. Have a good night. Bye.